Hey Bunny Pops, can I just tell you how hard it is to make a script for a video? It can get so confusing for no reason. I can sit there and type, and then my mind just goes blank. Then I'm forced to sit there and think of something to type down. That may not seem like a problem to most of you, but for me it takes a long time to write one. The sad part is that I do have a small story of when this did happen to me, so sit back and here's part 1 of my weird high school stories. More like when I was in middle school, but let's resume. But first, before I continue on with this story, I would like to say this drawing was done on the 10th of this month, so as you can tell, it is not the 10th anymore. Anyway, so the first story I have is when I was in 8th grade. I was the new girl in my school and I recently just moved to a new state. The first time I moved down here was when I was in 7th grade, and that's a story for a totally different day. Besides that, I had a rough first day at this new school. My first class of the day was drama/theater. Now look, I'm not the type of person that can sit there and read Romeo and Juliet or even Hamlet, but the plays never interested me. Now, what did interest me were the musicals. Hamilton, Heathers, Be More Chill, Mean Girls, Kinda, etc. Just telling you now, I do have a story for the Hamilton fans out there, but that's for a later date, so back on track. I sat there with a bunch of rude, petty girls. They were a year behind me, so of course they were that way. I got really mad when they bumped my arm while I was inking a drawing. The sad part is that I got the fakest apology from the girl, and I guess we'll call them the ABC squad for now because they do come up again. Now, we'll call the girls next to me at the next table. I guess we'll call them the DEF girls. Now, these girls were extremely nice to me while I was in this class. I eventually moved my seat over to them because the ABC squad were all gossip girls with no brains. For the rest of the time I was in that class, I worked with the DEF girls with every group assignment we did have. And this isn't a story about how the teacher was incredibly rude. No, the teacher was incredibly nice to everyone and only got mad or upset when the ABC girls or the GHI boys would talk and not listen. Now, the GHI boys were the boys that were also in 7th grade, but they were the 7th grade jokes. They thought that they were the best male students in that class when they were the most annoying people in the world, in my opinion. Anyway, now that you know who the main problems were in the class, let's talk about why it's hard to write a script. Well, for at least me, for that matter. When the ABC girls found out that the one assignment that we had to do this day was by ourselves, all they did was complain and cry about it. Same for the GHI boys. They were they were the type of students that would complain about anything that they couldn't do in groups. The assignment was writing our own script and story, and I thought that was pretty fun considering the fact that I didn't mind writing my own story, but I'd never written a script before, so this was going to be a little hard. Now, I don't know about you, but I was an anime person, like an anime weeb girl when I was in 7th grade. I still like anime to this day, but it's not as much as when I was in 7th grade. My love for anime has kind of calmed down in the last few years. My story was about a girl and a male female, and you can imagine where I got the idea to do that from. If you don't, I got it from an anime called Vampire Knight, which, mind you, is a very lovely, lovely juicy anime with a nice romance to it. But I'm not here to talk about the anime, no, I'm here to talk about the story that I wrote in 7th grade. So the story was about a girl that was at home alone with her dog, and her friend snuck in, and she got cut by the glass that was on the floor because he broke in, through a window. That's totally normal. Then he helped her cleaned up, but then he was really thirsty and bit her neck and passed out from him, over drinking her blood. She didn't know that he was a vampire, and she freaked out and passed out as well from losing blood. I don't know. I was in 7th grade. But she was sent to the hospital where she forgot everything and then randomly regained her memories again and turned into a vampire. But she accepted her best friend as a vampire and loved her. Yes, cheesy, I know. But it took a lot of time for me to do. It was 4 acts with over 22 lines of dialogue and actions the characters did. I don't know about you, but that's very hard. But even though it was a very hard task for me to do, I got 9 to 10 pages all out of it, so you can suck on it. I'm joking, I love you guys. But the fun part about doing this was our teacher allowed us to use strong language as long as we didn't show and tell their students about the script. The point of this was that it was very hard for me to focus on it and a lot more difficult than what people write it as. Actually, I'm thinking of actually telling the Hamilton story. Okay, here we go. This part I'm doing unscripted, so if I do miss it, please don't get mad. I thought that this script would last me for how long this video was, and it didn't. So, Hamilton, my favorite musical. Time to talk about it. Where does this fit in with my drama class? Well, let me tell you. For one of the group assignments, we were able to do our own performance, so to speak. I told my friends that we needed a minute, at least a minute long thing from what the teacher told us, and we needed to perform it in front of everyone in the classroom. So if you don't know, Hamilton is basically a musical by Lin-Manuel Miranda, and it's probably one of the first musicals I actually got into besides from Be More Chill. Hamilton was one of the more proper introductions into my musical love. There's one song in the second act that is really sad in my opinion, and that is Stay Alive Reprise, where I'm gonna spoil it for a lot of you. It's where Philip dies, but okay, so we performed it, we practiced, we got a lot of weird looks from the ABC squad and the GHI boys. Yeah, that was not fun. I was Eliza, my friend, we'll call her, I guess we'll say she's A. She was kind of like the leader of the group. A was Hamilton. B, which was the second most person I was close to, was the doctor. And C, which I was kind of close to but wasn't, she was Philip. B was very shy when it came to performing, and I didn't mind that factor, so I told her she can be the doctor, which had a minimalistic role. So as we were mouthing off to whatever the hell we were doing, it was really fucking weird. Sorry for my language, I do curse on this channel. But of course, since I was a musical geek and the ABC squad and the GHI boys were rude, they kind of made fun of us for doing something that was in the musical. Let me explain. They basically did songs and dancing. They really didn't make a performance, like an actual one. I'm sorry, I'm really bad at wording when it comes to these things, and my mind is like blank. So we had another single project. This is not for the Hamilton fans, but there was my little musical story for the day. The point is, we had another alone assignment, which the ABC squad and the GHI boys did not like. Now look, I'm a massive gamer girl. I can play games with no issue. Except when I get freaked out. Like, just a little side note, whenever I play a game and I'm being, like, shot at a person, I will scream. I slightly got better at doing that. Like, now I'm more calm and collective, and I actually carry my friends when it comes to certain games, so suck on it. Again, just a joke, I really love you guys. So, at the time, I wanted to do a Bendy and an Ink Machine type of thing. Yeah, Bendy and the Ink Machine. You know, a monologue by Joey Drew. So, I had basically 3 days to write this down, practice it, and perform it. It was very stressful. If you don't know what monologue I'm talking about, it was the one at the end of the game, at the end of Chapter 5, where he's talking on the cassette tape, and it says the end on another cassette tape next to Henry. Yeah, that's the one I did. Imagine trying to sit there and be serious in front of 7th graders that couldn't take anyone seriously. It was kind of like performing on eggshells because these people were like sharks and they were not the nicest people in the entire universe. Which, I don't think any of them would end up being in my classroom anyway. So I did my monologue, and again I got laughed at because no one knew where it came from because it seemed like I was the only person in my class that actually fucking played Bending Link Machine. And it seems like the boys didn't even know where I was coming from, even though that they probably watched the main YouTubers like Jack and Mark and PewDiePie, and I think PewDiePie played it. Don't quote me on that, he probably didn't. But still, Jack and Mark played it, and I thought they would have at least got it, but I guess I was the only one that did. I remember being told that, like, after class when the bell rang and I bumped into one of the girls on accident, they were complaining about how I presented myself during it. I was kind of confused because I was going for a serious, low-tone kind of thing. But everyone has their criticisms, and I took it upon myself to try it again the next day, and I still got complaints. I tried to fix it every time that I could, and I want to go by how I want to do it. I didn't need anyone else's approval of how I should do it. But I think those are the end of my 3 stories of when I was in drama club and dealing with those people. Don't get me wrong, I loved my little DEF squad because they were pretty fun. They were fun to be around. I thank those girls a lot for being really kind to me, even though they may not see this video. Now, before I go to the outro, I would like to go back to my script and talk about it. I would like to say from the first story, if I could find that script that I did, I will have me and my boyfriend read it, so that way you guys can get a kick out of it. But now I would like to apologize for the lack of content I've been making. I had my boyfriend over for a long summer visit, and since we're long distance, we don't get that opportunity a lot. We're both still in school, and everything's a little harder due to the fact that, again, we're long distance. So having the time that I can have with him is very valuable to me. But trust me, I will do anything I can, and I do have lots of plans to make more content and improve myself, so that way you guys can still enjoy me. So, the outro. Firstly, I would like to thank you for still being subscribed to me after all this time of no content being out. Just to know that you guys are still subscribed to me makes me feel like I have that constant support I really need nowadays. I do still plan to do an animac, but currently I only have 1 out of 3 parts done of it, and I apologize for that. I also would like to apologize about the mic quality. I am planning to save money for a professional mic. Again, that is on me, and I do plan to improve and get better so you guys have content to watch and hopefully enjoy. But thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. You can follow me on my Instagram and Twitter now. I finally got a Twitter, and I thought that's really cool. Sorry for the long outro, but thank you for watching if you got to the end of the video. See ya, and I hope you have a nice day.